Welcome to Tech Topics brought to you by Cybervenger. We help keep small businesses stay protected and compliant with cutting-edge cybersecurity and IT solutions.
Hello and welcome. My name is Andy. I'm the managing consultant for Cybervenger. Today we're doing another deep dive into the 110 controls of the NIST 800-171 standard. This standard tells people how they need to protect controlled unclassified information for the Department of Defense or federal governments, other departments. If you don't know what that is, we got a video that talks all about it and why you should care. If you do know what it is, let's check out the next control here. So go down here. And we are at 3.7.5. 3.7.5, it says require multi-factor authentication to establish non-local maintenance sessions via external network connections and terminate such connections when non-local maintenance is complete. Very wordy way of saying kind of the obvious. If you're remoting in to work on a system, that you better have two-factor. We talked about two-factor kind of to death on this channel. It is really the antidote for guessing passwords. Modern bad guys have kind of gotten around the old controls. In the old days, people could guess a password and they'd guess over and over and over again, right? And a machine could guess 1,000 times a second or whatever. A lot faster than humans can. And once machines started doing that, then you run into a problem where eventually people guess the password and get in. The original control back in the day is, okay, my username is Bob. If someone types Bob as username and password as a password, and then password 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth, they might guess it, but in order to get around that, there's something called intruder lockout. Intruder lockout will lock the account such that even if you do guess the correct password, you still can't log in because you locked the account because you typed the password incorrectly too many times in a row. And you can play with the threshold. Maybe it's 12 times, maybe it's 2 times, maybe whatever. The idea is that it locks. So that stopped that from happening. Then the problem you'd run into is if you would type the password incorrectly on Tuesday, and then again on Wednesday, and then again on Thursday, you could lock yourself out really easily, even if you only miss it once. So there's the lockout window. And again, this is ancient stuff. This has been figured out years ago. So the number of attempts to trip it off, how long it's locked for, and what your reset count is, right? So typically it's like an hour. If you guess 10 guesses an hour, your count is locked for half an hour. And that's typically what you would see-ish. That varies widely, but you get the idea. The problem now is what they do is instead of changing the password and guessing 10 million times, they're changing the username. Most attacks today are not so much targeted. It's more like phishing than hunting. The bad guys want to get in somewhere. Almost any victim has some value to ransomware gangs, to criminal enterprises, to state actors that are trying to exert negative political influence on their adversaries, that sort of thing. And they're just spitting stuff out there. So what they'll do is they'll take a given username. Let's say they're trying to break into your Office 365 account. They will take a common password, say password, but with an @ symbol instead of an A, a dollar symbol instead of an S, and a 0 instead of O's, right? Very common password. You may, if you're going, oh, wait a minute, I use that one. Yeah, bad you, change your password now. Anyway, they'll take that password, and instead of, changing the password on one account, they will take millions of possible email addresses and use that password, and they'll guess 1,000,000 times in a row. And this process takes a few days, right? I mean, even with the computer, it still takes a while to guess that. But you can go through millions of accounts. And at the end of all those accounts, and they go back to the beginning and they start over. Now you got password, same spelling, with a number 1 at the end of it, and a 2 and a 3, so on and so forth. Every password combination they can think of, they do these in a loop. And they go across millions of accounts. And there's no way to intruder lock out that because the account that gets locked only sees one attempt every couple of days. Because they're going against millions of accounts. So by the time you get back, it's been days and you haven't tripped that intruder lockout. That's why simple password protection is really not effective anymore. Anyone out in the internet can connect to your internet service and just try day and night, and it's anybody, anywhere. You're connected to the world, well, the world's connected to you. It's a problem with passwords. So to get around this, they come out with two-factor. You've got something your password, something you have, like a token or a one-time password code on your phone, or something like that, a little code that changes every so often, or something you are, which is biometrics. You get a fingerprint, a retinal scan, voice print, facial ID, whatever. I'm not a huge fan of that because for privacy reasons, and fundamentally, I always ask the question, is it really something you are if it's a set of bytes that the computer's receiving to send off. I mean, ultimately, your face, your fingerprint, your voice pattern, it's all got a digital hash code to it, if you will. And if someone gets that, it's still something you know. It's still kind of sort of the same fact. I'm waxing poetic here. In relation to this control, it just wants to make sure that you're using multi-factor authentication. That doesn't mean 2 passwords. It means one of those 3 things. Biometrics, if you're using biometrics, a token or a one-time password or a text to your phone number, like you have a phone, so that counts as something you have. That's one factor. There's sort of essentially 3 factors out there to choose from. They want you to use 2 of them at least. And as long as you're running that for your external accounts, you comply with 3.7.5. It's that simple. And which is interesting because in earlier standards, they want you to use that for even internal accounts, just your general, secretary running away, doing stuff, work on the machine. They have to have 2-factor on their account if they do anything to do with the CUI at all, even if it's not administrative work, which I found just quite an escalation. It tells you how important they find 3-factor. They're reiterating the point, and I'm guessing someone probably made this control before they decided to say that everybody needs it. They're reiterating the point that even your IT staff, your MSPs, your IT consultant also has to be taking these same kinds of precautions during maintenance. So even if they're not touching CUI, but they're doing maintenance. In fact, that's it. I've said before in other videos, whenever you have what appears to be a duplicate idea, there's usually some nuance they're trying to call out there. There's a reason that's there. It's not an oversight. And I would say that here they're saying that even if you're not touching CUI necessarily, but you're doing administrative work as an admin, you're the guy with the tool belt on working on the computer, right? Proverbial tool belt. You have to follow these controls as well. So guy or gal don't matter, but you got to file 2-factor for that sort of thing. Anyway, that's this control. I think I did that one to death. So we'll move on to the next one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.
Thanks for watching. We hope this video has provided valuable information to you. Be sure to share this video with other small business owners to spread the word about the importance of cybersecurity. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. If you want more information about cybersecurity, visit us at www.cybervenger.com.